I'm Charles Finkenbinder. I'm the city attorney for Conway, and I'm here with Captain Ty Ledbetter, Conway Fire Department. And with temperatures soaring, we thought it was a really good time to have a reminder about the dangers that hot cars pose to children. A child dying in a hot car is a tragedy. What's worse is that it's 100% preventable. Now, the people that I see coming through court in connection with children left in hot cars fall into two categories. The first is the group that forget the child is in the back seat, and we've got some tips later on to talk about that. But the second group know the child's in the back seat and take a risk that nothing's going to happen while they make that 10-minute run into the grocery store. And Captain Ledbetter is going to talk about how quickly that 10 minutes can turn fatal.
Thank you, Charles. So, like he was saying, inside a vehicle, it can get extremely hot, extremely quick. We've been inside this vehicle now for right at 2 minutes. It's 95 degrees outside, and I would be willing to bet that it's at least 115, 120 degrees just inside this vehicle right now. At 104 degrees, the cells start to deteriorate in the body. A prolonged exposure at 104 degrees can become fatal. At 107 degrees, it becomes fatal. Kids heat up 3 to 4 times faster than adults do. Like I said, we've been in here 2 minutes right now, and it's unbearable. So what we want to look for is if a kid is unresponsive, becomes disoriented, or if they're just stuck in a vehicle that's locked, not running, and it's 90, 95 degrees outside, that child's in danger.
Yeah, and when you see that, what we want you to do is call 911 immediately. Don't wait, and stay with the child. Try to establish some contact with the child. And Captain Ledbetter will tell you about some of the signs to look for, but if you see these signs, you need to get that child out of that car.
So, as you can see right now, I'm a little bit flushed skinned, I'm sweating. That's just the body's natural reaction to heat. That's an early sign. One of the later signs, these kids may stop sweating. That's extremely important to note. That means that their body is already out of reserves. Okay? The kids can become disoriented, not really know where they are. It's an altered mental status. That's a sign that the brain is not acting right, that it's starting to heat, have a stroke, basically. And then obviously the most critical one is the unresponsive kid. If that kid's unresponsive, they need out of that car and they need cooled off immediately.
Yeah, and that quick action can save a life. So remember that. Now back to the first group we talked about reminding yourself or remembering that there's a child in the back seat. Everyone makes mistakes. It's a busy world. People can get their brains twisted up to where they thought they convinced themselves that they dropped that child off at daycare when in fact they didn't. Well, there's one thing that you can do to remind yourself. We all have one of these. If you're taking a child and that child is in the back seat, if you're taking that child anywhere, take this phone out and put it in the back seat. You don't need it in the front with you anyway, right? And you won't forget that cell phone. If you don't forget the phone, you won't forget that child.